All right, you got a phone call. Ernie from Lancaster has been waiting for 35 minutes. Ernie, you got the patience of a saint. You're finally on with Senator Doug Mastriano. Ernie, sorry for the wait.
No problem. It was. I mean, it's always interesting to listen to Doug's excellence in history in Europe. But good morning, John. Happy President's Day to you, and thanks for taking the call. I wanted to be the first in to alert you in the media to hear some big news. There is a statewide grassroots Republican write-in campaign for Doug Mastriano for governor underway presently for the May 19th primary. And this is a totally independent grassroots initiative without any personal involvement by the senator. And I can tell you it's receiving a very large volunteer participation. We got two main goals in doing this write-in campaign for Doug. First, and obviously, to secure the majority of votes by write-in on May 19th to give Doug the Republican governor nomination. And secondly, to send a message to the PA GOP establishment that the grassroots, which is large, grassroots will of we the people is to be recognized and respected as a moving force in Pennsylvania for change. So perhaps you and the senator would like to offer some comment about this effort, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, here's my question. You're not going to prevail. Stacey Garrity is going to be the Republican nominee for governor. Appreciate the effort. What I would say is anybody that you've engaged, we need to keep them motivated. We don't need them to take their bat and ball and go home. That's what the Democrats want. And I would ask you right now, do I have the assurance of both yourself and those of you that are involved in this noble effort, if you will, that at the end of the day, when Stacey Garrity is the Republican candidate for governor, who is a MAGA conservative, right? Let's not drop that ball, okay? She's a 100% MAGA conservative, and it wasn't her fault that the PA GOP decided to do what they did and Rothman to do what he did. Do we have your 100% assurance you're going to get behind the Republican gubernatorial guarantee candidate in Pennsylvania, regardless of who it is, Ernie? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, absolutely, John. I mean, we've made it very clear to people this is for the primary only. I mean, this is no different than if Doug had entered the race and ran against them. It's Republicans voting for Republicans. If Stacey wins, and I know you say she will, I'm trying to be optimistic for my effort, but nevertheless, if she wins, she will have the full backing of all of us moving on to the general election. If Doug were to win and accept the nomination, which I hope he would, then we would give him the full backing. But we're not trying to disrupt anything within the general election. We want to see Shapiro out of there, and we will stand behind the primary nominee.
So your effort is not, let me just get this straight, Ernie, because I really want to understand this, and I respect what you're doing. So your effort is not disruption. Your effort is not break things apart. Your effort is to get more people engaged that might have felt disenfranchised because they're Mastriano fans, and give them an outlet and then keep them engaged post primary in May, regardless of the situation. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, yes. I mean, our ultimate focus is we want a strong Republican candidate to be able to go against Shapiro and unseat him from that position.
What's your beef with Stacey? I mean, she's a treasurer of the state. She got more votes in the history of anybody running in Pennsylvania. It's not her fault that Rothman decided to jump the shark here and do what he did. We've already criticized that for months, but it's not her fault. I mean, she didn't go out there and campaign for that. I mean, she's running for governor, and she's got a good record, and she's 100% MAGA. I mean, I know the lady. I mean, she's 100%. So I get the effort, but I don't get what your beef is with Stacey.
Well, there's certainly nothing against Stacey personally, and she has a lot of great qualities. But I probably should point out, yes, she got this huge record vote in 2024. But you know why that happened? It's because Doug endorsed her and told all of us his supporters to vote for her. I mean, that's why she got all that. I mean, that's Doug's vote representing probably half of what she got.
All right, Doug, I'm going to let you wait. Ernie's a good guy, Doug, and his heart's in the right place. That's why I love Ernie. And he's not being disruptive. He's not trying to, this is not a protest. He just wants an outlet. He wants to give your supporters an outlet. And I get that. I really do, Ernie. I get what you're doing, because it doesn't seem like there's any, like, you know, my candidate didn't decide to run. I'm going to write him in. Then I'm going to take my bat and ball and go home. Screw all y'all. Doesn't seem to be that, Doug.
No, I appreciate the grassroots, stepping up. This is, you and I talked about this, John, the dangers of a way early premature coronation of a candidate at the hands of the state party risks losing the grassroots. And it was a bad move strategically. I think it was flat out wrong. You just don't do that. You disenfranchise the grassroots, the people who are knocking on doors and giving you donations as well. And so, it's a choice between grassroots and establishment when you do it so early. So this is a great effort and a great opportunity for people to really, it's a vote on the early endorsement process, I think, more than even just me. It's just,
I love that. That you know what, Ernie? Mastriano nailed it. I love that. This is a vote against the establishment putting their thumbs on the scale. And it's the early endorsement process, like 6 months or something before the election. I thought the thing was absurd from day one. I thought it was absurd. And I think, if Stacey wanted to run for governor, like whoever else runs, I mean, you go out there, you win the primary, you show voters that you can put a campaign together. And she's certainly done that in the past, and she's gotten all these votes. So, but I like that. So a write-in vote for Mastriano is an indictment against the PA GOP running this scam, right, Ernie?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And as you know, I full well know, and all his supporters, Doug is the type of person we need in the governor's office. Whether that can happen or not from this, he is the man who has the qualities and the experience for it.
Well, Doug, I like that, right? This is a vote against what the PA GOP did, and led by your colleague. And I told you when McCormick twisted everybody's arm to get him in there, I told you this was gonna happen.
You did.
I did. He's my friend, he's my colleague, he's MAGA, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, Doug. At the end of the day, you cannot have a chairman of a party who is a statewide elected official. The conflict is too great. They don't have the time. There's too many other things going on. It has failed everywhere it's been done. And, Dave McCormick decides, well, now I'm going to run the party. Yay, Dave. Why don't you, Dave, I got an idea. Why don't you do this? Why don't you vote to get rid of the filibuster so we can actually get something done instead of worrying about taking over the Republican Party of Pennsylvania? You got bigger things going on in there. Right, Dave McCormick? Why don't you do that? Why don't you start there instead of worrying about who's a chairman? The whole thing pissed me off from day one. As soon as you get like senators like trying to run the party, you let the grassroots run the party. You let chips fall where they may. And that, putting your way, picking a guy, and guy's a state senator. Look, I like Greg. He's a good guy. Floats the right way. But you can't wear two hats. You can't have two bosses. You can't have two loyalties. And you just can't. You can't serve two gods. Chairman of the party should have one job: build a party and serve the grassroots and build them and get them engaged and fired up and be a fair arbiter, calling balls and strikes as you build the party. Greg hasn't done that. That's why he got beat in that special. That's what started this whole thing. And you go from there. So, I'm not a fan, obviously. Ernie, I'll give you the final word here.
All right, great. Well, I do want to say, and I'm sure you know as well, everybody talks about grassroots when they're running in a campaign. Doug Mastriano has truly had the grassroots supreme, if you will, really going back to 2020 in his involvement in defending our freedoms and our rights on this capital steps. So if you saw this grassroots, these people, the enthusiasm, the passion, the talent, and the sacrifice that they have given for Doug in the past and are willing to give now and are in fact doing so. I mean, even this campaign that we're doing, we have nearly 1,300 core volunteers who are actively promoting this across the state for every county. We have some really big plans to make that.
When's the primary?
May 19th. May 19th.
Okay, so May 19th, you want Republicans to go. Is an open or closed primary in Pennsylvania? I don't remember. Is it?
I believe it's, if you mean by only Democrats writing or voting and for theirs and Republicans for theirs. Yes, that's correct. Independents can't do anything.
Okay, so you're a Republican. You got to go vote on May 19th, and you want people to grab a pencil and not vote for Garrity and vote for Mastriano. Is there anybody else on the ballot, Doug, or is it just Stacey alone?
Just Stacey. Well, I mean, we're going through the petition drive right now, so we'll see if signatures are collected, but I have not heard of anyone serious or viable that's going to be on the ballot.
Well, here's her problem.
If I could leave you with one thought.
How do you get your voters out when you have no opposition on the ballot? Like, how does she get her voters out?
So that's the problem. Yeah. So the party hand selects. Now there's no competition. There's no fight. There's no enthusiasm. So what Ernie is doing is actually, I know it's a stretch, but it's a possibility if there's extremely low turnout. And if, Ernie's volunteers motivate people, it could really happen. I mean, I know the odds are against it, John, but because there's going to be why should I go out and vote? 8 months before the election, the party picked the candidate. There's no names on there that I care about. So there is that danger.
Are you going to write your own name in, Doug?
We'll see.
Oh, you knew that question was coming, right? Maybe I should ask your wife who she's going to vote for. Probably get a straight answer. I know if I ask Rebby, I'll get a straight answer.
Yes, you will.
I can guarantee you that. Ernie, I'm going to get a straight. Didn't get a straight answer from Doug, and I get his position here. But if I text his wife right now, I'm going to get a straight answer one way or the other, and she'll text me back, Doug, in like 10 seconds. Just saying.
All right, so you shame me. Yes, I'm going to write my own name in. You shame me into it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to answer the question, right? You're either the grassroots or not. Ernie, the way you explained it, the way Doug explained it, I like the idea, because the idea is get the grassroots involved, make it a protest vote against what Senator Rothman and the PAGOP did, which is basically now run by Senator McCormick, which I also think is a bad idea, right? I mean, you don't have to run the party. Just go be a senator. We'll figure it out later, right? Let's build the party. Let's raise money, build the party. Let's make it meaningful. And but you got to get the grassroots involved. And the first move was losing. I mean, look, if you're Rothman, your first move, you got beat in a special that Trump won by 15, right? Strike one. Then your second move is you put the thumb on the scale and you disenfranchise like half the Republican voters in Pennsylvania. So Rothman, you're 0 for 2. I mean, take 2, hit the right. I don't know what the answer is, but maybe you'll get a waist pitch in there or something. But you had 2 swings and misses. You're down 0-2. You got guys on base, Doug. You gotta get a hit here.
I know. Please.
Don't be chasing sliders in the dirt, because that's what's coming. Yep. All right. Doug, you want to finish us up? Close us out here.
Thank you, Ernie, and thank you to the grassroots, because we are a movement forged in the reopen movement, resisting Governor Wolf's tyranny, our previous governor, and seeking justice and wanting to have a state and a country a little bit better than how we got it from our fathers. So the mistakes were made by the state party, and this could disrupt things. So we'll see how it comes out. But if not for anything else, here it's a chance for the people to actually have a say.
You got it right. All right, Doug, thanks for being with us. People want to follow you, and Ernie, stay on the line. People want to follow you, Doug. Where do they go?
At Doug Mastriano.
It's easy as that, at Doug Mastriano. All right, Doug, we're going to let you go, but I'm going to stay with Ernie, right? I'm going to stay with Ernie. So, Doug, thank you for being with us at Doug Mastriano. Ernie, so let me just stay with you here. So people in Pennsylvania want to get involved in your grassroots effort. Apparently, you're one of the leaders of it. You know, how do they get involved? Where do they go?
All right. Well, I mean, we have a private Facebook group out there. And I'll give you the name in here in just a second as I pull it up. You know, they can search it out and they can join. And of course, they have to answer a couple questions like, yes, they're going to support Doug, but it's called Grassroots Republican Write-In Campaign for Doug Mastriano for Governor. If they just type in Grassroots Republican Write-In, they'll probably come right to it. That's the main thing. The other thing is, if they believe in doing this, they can tell anybody. I mean, this is a decentralized effort. There's no money involved. It's just communication through every social media channel, phone calls, emails, knocking on doors, you know, text messages, whatever we can do. And that's what people are doing. We produced some materials for them from a very talented graphic design person that we have, and we've given them instruction on how they can produce them or print them off on their own or a local printer. And they're running with this stuff. I mean, we literally have almost 1,300 people doing this. It's exciting. It really is. And, you know, I can't emphasize enough, you know, how, I mean, you know, Doug is the motivation, even though he has nothing to do with this. I mean, you know, he's been motivating us for 5-6 years now, you know, and because of his defense of our freedoms. So that's what's behind this.
You think you can get 25% of the vote?
Well, I'll tell you that here's the truth. You know, I mean, I'm Ernie. I'm not Doug. You know, I can get 10% of his people to, you know, get motivated. I would like Doug to come out and get the other 90% motivated with
not going to do it.
You know,
no,
with
he
the
can't
statement.
do it. No, he can't do it.
Yeah.
Doug is not.
Well,
you know, it's one thing voting for yourself. It's another thing to be campaigning on a write-in where you already endorse Garrity, and Garrity's going to be the nominee. That's counterproductive. I would not think that Doug would do that. And if he did, I wouldn't be in favor of it because he decided not to run. And
know, John,
fine. But
you hit the nail on the head though about the turnout. I mean, Stacey is unopposed, so that's going to be a low GOP turnout. Plus, it's primary; it's low anyway. But no presidential election either, and a lot of the other Republicans that are running, many of them are unopposed too. So we're motivating Doug's base to come out in force. And, you know, Doug in his primary had 591,000 votes that he got alone. Mm-hmm. And I think we only need about 350,000. And I think that could be doable.
Well, I think with a low turnout, but I love the idea. You give the grassroots an outlet, you give them a way to get involved, and you turn it into a protest vote against the PAGOP, you know, putting their thumb on the scales, which I was just not in favor of. I mean, you just let the thing play out. Yeah. Otherwise, you disenfranchise too many people, and that's, you know, that's what happens when you've got elected officials running things. You know, McCormick's running it, Rothman's running it. These are elected officials. They see things differently. Chairman of a party needs to be somebody from the grassroots. Like the DC GOP, my chairman, Patrick Mara, grassroots guy, was a school board member, understands it, would never weigh in like this. I mean, you just can't have it. We had, you know, there was a state senator running the Virginia GOP, great guy, Mark Peake. You just, you know, he's a state senator, he's a lawyer, he's got a law firm, he's got clients. You just don't have the time, right? You need somebody as chairman that is, you know, it's a non-paid position, but they got to have enough time to be able to run the party. And that's a very difficult thing to do. So, look, whenever you get the grassroots involved, I applaud your efforts. I'll get Stacey on the next couple of days. I'm going to email her now, see if I can get her on. But Ernie, thank you for your patience. Great conversation with Doug Mastriano.